As a magician, if there's one thing I really like, it's optical illusions. That and Yugoslavian porn. This is kind of weird. I go through the pack and someone says stop. They shout, stop. I say, fine, right there. You stop me at a card, in this case, the Four of Hearts. I say, look, we're going to do an optical illusion with the Four of Hearts. I have it examined, closely examined. Take the card back. I say, it seems solid, but I'm going to do something to it that makes you think it's a lot less solid than it appears. Watch. Over here in the card case. Look. I cut a piece off of another playing card. And I put a tiny, you can't see, a tiny bit of wax, a little bit of wax, on the underside of that piece. Now look, this is really cool. If I take it and stick it in the middle of the card, look at that, take a close look at it with the camera. I want you to see, it looks a lot like there's a hole in the four now. Now maybe it's not perfect. I mean, it probably looks better if I keep it moving that way. It looks more convincing, I'm assuming. But it's actually very convincing. I want you to see just how convincing it is. And keep in mind that this was a just examined card. It's extremely convincing. But like I said, it's obviously it's an illusion. I mean, I put it back on, and now I can try to convince you that it's actually just. And again, it probably looks better if I keep it moving, and then it looks more convincing that there's actually a piece there, which, of course, there is. And I can just hand out the four for a close examination. Down the garden path they go. Cut out. Roughs, I don't go for any perfect circle. I think that's just too precise. And for sort of a misshapen circle, a sphere, kind of egg-shaped thing. Okay. Put a little wax on the other side, a little tiny little bit of wax. You can also use double-sided tape. Okay, whatever will adhere, doesn't really matter. You could probably make a paste from some flour and some spittle if you've chewed a lot of bubble gum. Just make a little paste or something. And stick that to the card case. Okay, that's on the card case. You also need a Four of Hearts that's cut out in a very similar, it doesn't have to be exactly, but a very similar. The easiest way to do it, frankly, is just to cut out your piece from a card, lay it down on a four, and then with a little pencil draw around it. Take this off, and then where the pencil is, lay this on a piece of cardboard or what would you call it, like a raccoon skull. And with a razor blade, just cut into the skull. I mean, cut out the card like that around. You're good to go. And you need a solid four. That's it. The rest is, it's one move, basically. You've got the Four of Hearts on top of the cutout card. That's your setup in the pack. Okay? One of those things where you could have the two cards inside the card case. Of course, take the deck out, leaving those two in, do a few card tricks, slip it away, say, hey, I'll show you one more thing, and then pull out the group, boom. And then double undercut. Spread out the cards, get your break above the bottom of the two cards. Double undercut to the top, and you're set to go. Okay. Solid four, cut four. You can even just have it when you're double undercutting from the bottom, just pause halfway through the double undercut, keep a pinky break, and you're set to do the force. You go through the pack, someone calls stop, boom, you cut the pack there. Thumb off the four. Now, in a lot of lighting conditions, they'd never see this cutout part, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, so I thumb it off like that, wrist kill. Hand out the four. This is very important. Have the four very, very closely examined. Spend time. Make sure, ask anybody, is there anything, does it feel weak? Is there a cut or a slit or any kind of hole in it at all? That's the key, because the more they're sure, and everyone's sure that it's a solid four, the better chance that you get total gasps when that hole sort of just suddenly appears like a fog. Just sort of appears. Okay. Now, take it, put it on top of the hole cut four, and get a break about underneath the top two cards. Okay? Take this, show it, you can have it examined if you want. Stick it in the approximate spot. Boom. Take a few beats. The illusion is great. I'm not going to pick it up, and I'm going to do Marlowe's twirl, what I call a twirl change, but is I think was published as in lieu of the Vernon's Through the Fist move. And you pick up the top two cards as one. And at this point, this is actually, pick up the top two cards as one, okay, with the first finger here. Sorry, second finger there, first finger in the middle. And you pick it up. Now, they think that you're just picking up the one card with the gimmick. They don't realize you're picking up two cards at this point. Or not the gimmick, but the cutout card. As I wave, I say, oh, maybe the illusion looks a little bit better if I keep it in motion. This finger pulls over while the second, third, fourth finger pushes down. Okay, that twirls them. Here it is in slow motion. Like that. Okay? So I say, oh, maybe it'll look a little better if I keep it in motion like that. And they go, oh, they agree. And say, actually, I think it looks a lot better. Watch. And I love this moment. You slowly push it across, and it actually got a bit of a vertigo. It looks like the gimmick, or it looks like the whole, it's hard to describe what's happening. It looks like that cutout piece is shifting like a TV set. And then when you reach the edge of the pack, now all of a sudden everything becomes right in the world again. And they realize, oh my God, the holes become real. And you hand, I mean, it's just, there's nothing to see here. You hand that out, and people think the trick's over, okay? You got to give them time here. Don't, you know, oh, I got to get to the second phase. No, let them take their time. And sometimes I stop there. If that's the vibe on it, boom, and I go on to something else. Boom, I go on to something else, okay? But if it feels like the rhythm's right and they've had enough look at that, I'll bring it back out of the pack, and I get a break above the top 2 cards like that, boom, and I go, yeah, I know, it's a very convincing illusion. Actually, if I hold the card beneath it with it like that, if I hold it up, obviously now, it looks like we're back where we started with that piece there. And as before, if I keep it moving, of course, again, it's now it simply looks like that piece is back. And of course, I just did the twirl change again. It looks like the piece is back. And in fact, now, as I lift off here, okay, if I'm working for 1 or 2 people, I can totally control the sight line by doing this and then wrist killing. But if I've got a lot of people around me, I'll do that, I'll lift up, wrist kill, put the deck down, and it's so nice for them to still be registering the moment, and every beat I get away from the deck, every inch I come up, take it off, and you have just followed one eerie magic with another very eerie moment.